Before the sun has fully risen, Australia screams. Not one bird, hundreds, all at once, all in white. The Sulphur-crested Cockatoo, the loudest, the boldest, the most intelligent wild bird in Australia. Most people think they know this bird. They have heard it, they have cursed it, but they have never truly seen it. Until now.
This is Eastern Australia, from the tip of Cape York to the forests of Victoria. The Sulphur-crested Cockatoo lives everywhere here. Dense bush, open farmland, city parks, suburban streets. No other large parrot in Australia has adapted to human environments as successfully as this one. Where humans go, the cockatoo follows, and usually arrives first.
There, watching everything, missing nothing. This is the Sulphur-crested Cockatoo. Pure white, yellow crest, a beak designed to crack the hardest Australian seed cases. But it is not the beak that makes this bird extraordinary. It is the brain behind those eyes. A brain capable of things that will surprise even the most experienced wildlife scientists.
The cockatoo never travels alone. It lives in flocks, sometimes hundreds strong. Watch the structure carefully. Some birds feed, some watch. Those watching birds, the sentinels, rotate their duty. One bird watches while another eats. Then they switch. This is not accident. This is a coordinated system, a society with rules that every bird follows. Listen to the flock. Not just noise, information. The crest position alone communicates at least 5 different states: alert, relaxed, excited, aggressive, bonding. The calls carry specific meanings: alarm, food location, flock direction, individual identity. A sulphur-crested cockatoo can recognise individual flock members by their unique calls. This flock knows each other as individuals, every single one. Now watch this. A seed pod. Difficult to open? The cockatoo tries one approach, fails. Tries another, fails again. Then it pauses, actually appears to think, repositions the pod, tries a completely new technique. Success! This ability to try, fail, learn, and adapt is called problem solving. Very few animals on Earth do it as effectively as this bird. Then, something extraordinary. The bird picks up a small stick. Deliberately, it uses it to lever food from a crack in the bark. This is tool use. Only a handful of animal species on Earth use tools. Chimpanzees, crows, dolphins, and the sulphur-crested cockatoo. A bird using an object as an extension of its own body to solve a problem its body alone cannot solve. In the Australian bush, every single day. But here is what makes this even more remarkable. The young bird watches, then copies. Scientists call this cultural learning, a skill passed from one individual to another not through genetics, but through observation. A cockatoo that learns a new technique can spread that knowledge through the entire flock within days. The flock is not just a group, it is a living school where knowledge is currency and every bird is both teacher and student. Then, the most extraordinary proof of cultural learning ever documented in Australian wildlife. In 2018, one cockatoo in Sydney learned to open a rubbish bin lid by itself. Within 3 years,
The technique had spread to over 400 birds across 44 suburbs. Not because they instinctively knew, because they watched and learned. The cockatoo did not just adapt to the human world, it learned to exploit it better than any other bird on Earth.
But intelligence is only one side of this bird. Watch the crest. It rises in a single second from flat to full fan. 16 yellow feathers forming a perfect crown, used in excitement, in alarm, in courtship, in dominance. When a cockatoo raises its crest fully, every other bird in the flock notices immediately. It is the most expressive signal in Australian bird language.
Courtship in the cockatoo world is theatre. The male raises his crest fully, bobs his head, struts along the branch. He spreads his wings slightly, calls out, looks at her directly. She appears completely unimpressed, but she is watching everything, processing everything. Sulphur-crested cockatoos mate for life. This choice, this single decision, will define the next 70 years. She is not going to rush it. She chose him 3 years ago. They have not been apart since, not for a single day. Bonded cockatoo pairs spend hours grooming each other. This is not just hygiene, it is communication, trust, reassurance, love, if we can use that word for a wild bird. And after watching them, it is hard not to.
Finding the right hollow can take years. Old growth eucalyptus trees, hollows large enough for both birds, deep enough to protect eggs from weather. Competition for these hollows is fierce. Other cockatoos, possums, parrots, all competing for the same cavities. Once a pair finds the right hollow, they defend it for life. The same tree, the same cavity, generation after generation.
Only 1 or 2 chicks per season. The cockatoo invests everything. Both parents take turns incubating. Both parents feed the chick. For 3 months after hatching, the chick stays in the hollow. Then another 3 months learning to fly and feed. 6 months of total parental commitment for one young bird. This investment is why the cockatoo lives so long, and why every single young bird matters so much.
Young cockatoos play, genuinely, joyfully, for hours. Play in animals usually indicates high intelligence. The brain needs practice to develop properly. These young birds are building neural pathways, learning balance, coordination, social signals, everything they will need for the next 70 years of flock life. It looks like fun. It is also education.
This bird may live 80 years, longer than many humans. In the wild, the older birds in the flock know things the younger ones do not. Which trees fruit in drought, which areas to avoid, which dangers are real. In a cockatoo flock, age is respected. The old birds lead. Their knowledge is the flock's survival, stored in a brain that has been learning for decades. As the sun falls, they gather. From kilometres in every direction, the roost trees turn white with birds. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, all coming home. The noise fills the entire valley, a sound that has filled Australian evenings since long before Europeans arrived. The Aboriginal peoples of this land have heard this sound for at least 65,000 years. It is Australia calling its own name. As darkness comes, the flock settles. The noise drops. One call, then another, then silence. Each bird finds its place beside its bonded partner. They roost together every night in the same trees for as long as those trees stand. Some of these roost trees have held cockatoos for over 100 years. The birds return, as they always have.
Before the screaming starts again, there is this one moment. Quiet. The cockatoo has watched Australia change more than almost any other creature. It watched the forests clear, the cities rise, and it adapted. It learned. It spread. It thrived. Not because it had to, because it was smart enough to. The most intelligent response to a changing world was to learn the new world and make it home. The sulphur-crested cockatoo asks for nothing from us. Only the old trees, only the hollows, only the right to scream at dawn in a country it has lived in for millions of years. It is not a pest. It is not just a pretty bird. It is one of the most intelligent living things in Australia. And it will outlive most of us, if we let it. Subscribe for more Australian wildlife stories. There is so much more intelligence in this wild country than most people ever see.